Hi everybody, I'm Tim Bulott. We've got something for you video makers today, especially from the 90s. This is Sony's EVW-300 3CCD high 8 camcorder. It records on videotape, records on one of these, a high 8 videotape or a standard 8mm. And this is one of the cameras that we used quite heavily back in the 90s to shoot our Training to Survive television show. So why are we bringing you this today? Well, we still have this camera, okay? And in keeping with the traditions of the show of as we reshoot some of these old segments, as long as I have this original video equipment, I'm going to use it. Now, some of you may say, well, this stuff is obsolete and out of date. Yes, I understand that. But on the other hand, it kind of depends on what you're using it for. And if you're going to recreate a show that was shot back in the 90s, what a better way to recreate it than using the original equipment other than using filters and special effects to make a modern camera look like the original equipment, okay? And besides, for me, as you've heard me say before, it's a trip down memory lane. Now, there's a few issues with this camera because it is old, okay? As you can see, it still powers on here, and you can see the audio meter. It's picking up some audio and so forth. Zoom and focus work. It does put out an image, but the image is very dark and grainy. And a lot of these old electronics from back in that day suffered from poor capacitors, and the capacitors just tend to leak out, dry up, or whatever. And it causes damage to the camera, especially if you don't use it for a while. Now, for me, there's nothing like the image of a good broadcast quality 3CCD camera, okay? The chips back in those days, in my opinion, captured colors beautifully. Take a look at some of these images that we shot back in the 90s and look how they upscale very nicely to HD nowadays. They look like they were shot yesterday. Hi everybody, I'm Tim Bulott, the owner and the head instructor of the Academy of Kempo Karate, located right here in Irving, Texas.
Okay, and I just want you to do a simple front snap kick, and she's going to rest the heel in my hand, okay?
Because I'm grabbing around on the palm, okay? I step back, pull and snap and dislocate. I let go, but I want to dislocate.
Back with you again this week to provide you another crime prevention tip. This week we're going to focus on how to be streetwise and safe. We all know living in Metroplex how dangerous it can be, so I'm going to give you 3 basic rules to go by.
To use the edge of your hand to the throat and then maybe a back knuckle to the ribs. Okay, now you can move very quickly when you're executing these techniques.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So I don't know how that looked on your end, but here it looks like I said, it looks very pristine. Now, the YouTube compression does give it hell, so to speak, but nevertheless, it looks like it was shot yesterday, literally. So we're going to send this camera off. We're going to send it up to Canada, let 12-volt vids up there take a look at it and see if he can work some of his magic on it. If it is possible to bring this back, then we will put it back to use again in the show as we reshoot some of these scenes in Training to Survive. It does have a cracked back focus ring here that's from a fall, but nevertheless, it does not affect the usability of the camera at all. So anyway, that's the look at the EVW-300 Sony 3-chip high 8 camcorder. This is the last that we'll see of it before it goes in the box, goes to the post office, and we're going to send it off to see if it can be brought back to life.